Good morning, guys. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get into the session. This is eGuardian's first webinar when it comes to NinjaOne. And what we're going to highlight today is a very like an overview, give all of you guys a clear technical picture of exactly what NinjaOne does and how it works and whether it's a right fit for your organization, for your team, etc. Right. And my name is Khalid Nalim. I'm a pre-sales engineer at eGuardian. And over the next, let's say about 40 to 50 minutes, what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to emphasize on um, basically how valuable NinjaOne is and give you a complete walkthrough of the NinjaOne platform as well. So we'll cover everything from agent architecture to patch automation to MDM, and also we'll have a small brief Q&A session at the end to kind of if you have any questions that you can raise it at the end of the session. So pretty much what we're going to cover today is we're going to talk about, of course, I'm going to give you a brief introduction about eGuardian, what we do, and then kind of transition to the IT challenges that basically drives the interest in platforms like NinjaOne, right? Because such platforms have become a necessity at the moment, especially when it comes to IT organizations in order to basically make your complex IT tasks more efficient and effective. And also I'll give you a very in-depth understanding about NinjaOne, the RMM system, the patch management feature, remote access, IT automation, reporting, MDM, backup documentation, and I'll also explain each module with real use cases so that you can kind of get a very clear picture about what NinjaOne is. And also finally, we'll close with business cases and basically show you how NinjaOne compares to the competitors and in terms of like ROI numbers and how we can get started with a POC in Sri Lanka, or if you're joining from around the world. Of course, eGuardian has various domains in other countries which can help you to address your specific use case. So a quick introduction about eGuardian Lanka. We are a leading IT solutions value-added distributor operating across the APAC region, EMEA region, and Bangladesh, Maldives, etc. And we partner with world-class vendors like NinjaOne and various other vendors like Fortinet, Nutanix, and Arista, etc. So most of the names that you might know who are dominating the current market, IT market, we work with them. And for NinjaOne, we are the authorized distributor for NinjaOne in Sri Lanka, providing full sales deployment, training, and also in certain use case, certain scenarios, we offer post-technical support as well. And our mission is to pretty much just empower all organizations, not across Sri Lanka, but across the globe to basically improve the IT infrastructure. And so let's address the main challenge that IT management or as IT organizations are facing today. That is complexity. So before I show you NinjaOne, I want to spend like a very brief amount of time to address the problem that maybe your organization or you as an IT administrator can resonate or can relate with. And in an organization, especially IT, in any organization, not just IT organization, any BFSI, be it any other organization, endpoint environments are growing like really fast, and remote work, branch offices, bring your own devices, and almost 73% of IT teams globally report managing more endpoints than they were just like 3 years ago. Nowadays, and especially those endpoints are spread across more operating systems, more locations, more network configurations than ever before. And the second problem is patching. 68% of security breaches involve unpatched systems, not zero-day exploits, just software that nobody got around to updating. Maybe it could be maybe a small software that's running on the device, or it could be a very critical security patch that has not been applied to the device. So these little problems or these minor issues can lead to a much bigger effect within the organization. And especially the reason patching falls behind is because it's manual, it's time consuming, and IT teams, they IT teams pretty much have a very heavy workload. So given the fact that they have a heavy workload, kind of managing these patches and especially attending to such minor tasks becomes a hassle. And that brings me to the third and final issue, which is the tool sprawl. An average IT team, they use around 12 or sometimes more tools to manage the environment. And maybe they have separate tools for separate use cases. And so a monitoring tool, a patching tool, a remote access tool, a ticketing system, a documentation system. And sometimes they spend most of the time trying to integrate these systems with one another, or else maybe these systems don't really talk to each other properly. Maybe they don't have a way of integrating with each other. So you end up with blind spots, you end up with duplicated effort, and there is always a skill gap. And every tool has its own learning curve, which again it adds more workload onto the IT teams. And on top of all of that, 40% of an IT engineer's working week is consumed by repetitive manual tasks, things that can be automated and that should be automated. And these are things that it does not need or does not require human intervention. So when there are such tasks, right, my question is, what would it mean for your IT team if all of that monitoring, patching, remote access, automation, reporting, documentation was all basically consolidated into one single platform working together without friction? And that's exactly what NinjaOne addresses, or what NinjaOne is all about. Sorry. So NinjaOne is a cloud native unified IT operations platform. What it means is that it replaces all the point products or else the different tools that I mentioned before into a single console. And it does everything that an IT team needs. And the numbers that we have put on the screen pretty much speaks for themselves. They have 17,000 plus customers, and some of those references being Google, Disney, Paramount, etc. And they have more than 3 million endpoints. Hello, yeah, Harsh Kapila, please. Okay, so and they have more than 3 million endpoints under management and the number one rated RMM platform, especially given that recently NinjaOne was named a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant as well. And these are not small organizations, as I mentioned. NinjaOne is deployed across banks, hospitals, universities, enterprise IT systems that manage thousands of endpoints across multiple countries. But more importantly, for the conversation today, the reason NinjaOne wins on customer satisfaction is it's not just because of the features. It's also the experience. IT professionals consistently report that NinjaOne is the first platform they've used that actually does what it says on the box without requiring weeks of configuration. And I will get into a very simple demo of the platform, but you can pretty much see that NinjaOne console is very straightforward. When it comes to the user interface, it's very simple and straightforward, and pretty much you can get an understanding of what you need to do, where you need to do. Just it's just straight up out there. And the three core pillars of NinjaOne is monitor, manage, and automate. So when it comes to monitoring, you get full real-time visibility across Windows, macOS, Linux, Android, iOS, or any network device in your environment. And you can manage your patches, configure like patch management methods. You can maintain endpoints through policy-based controls, and there are no manual steps and you don't have to chase individual machines. You can pretty much just manage all of this through one single console. And finally, of course, the automation where you can eliminate all the repetitive work And you can ask NinjaOne to do this on your behalf, and it will do it without any effort. And scripts, condition triggers, maybe self-healing policies. For example, if a service crashes, NinjaOne restarts it before your end user even notices. So what I'm gonna walk you through is each of these features in detail, or each of these pillars in detail. So let's start off with the architecture. The architecture is very simple, which is one of NinjaOne's biggest advantages and one of NinjaOne's key USPs. On the left side of this diagram, of course, you have your endpoints, Windows machines, Mac OS devices, Linux, network devices, and each managed device runs the NinjaOne agent. So for network devices like switches and routers, it's agentless, SNMP-based monitoring with no installation required. In the middle is the NinjaOne cloud platform. This is a fully hosted SaaS service. It's a cloud platform, of course, and you you don't have to manage servers. There's no on-premise infrastructure to maintain, and there's no database that you have to back up. But NinjaOne does have a feature where you can pretty much opt in for a backup add-on, which gives you the ability to create backups like image backups, system backups, file backups, etc. And of course, on the right side, you have your outputs, which is the web console, the mobile app, REST API, alert channels, everything you basically need to operate on, report, and integrate with your existing stack. Now, the Open REST API is something we'll come back to later. It means the NinjaOne can be integrated with virtually any existing, let's say, ITSM solutions, any SIEM solutions that you might have, or any custom platform that you're running. The Open REST API supports that. Now, let's talk about getting NinjaOne onto your endpoints. So, the agent deployment and onboarding. One of the most common objectives or the common objections we hear when evaluating RMM platforms is deployment complexity. And so how long does it usually take to get running, right? And the honest answer with NinjaOne is if you have a well-managed AD or else an Active Directory environment, you could have your first 500 endpoints reporting into NinjaOne within the same working day. It does not take a long time. Deploying the agent onto your endpoints is very simple, very straightforward, and the agent installer is pretty much around 27 megabytes right now, and it installs silently, no user notification, and it does not require reboot either. And deployment options cover every model. So for organizations using group policy, you push the MSI via, you can push it via the GPO, or else you can just run like an Active Directory scan, and you can mass deploy your agents across all endpoints. So once the agent is running, the device appears in the NinjaOne console within about, let's say, 60 to 90 seconds. And from that point onward, it starts reporting hardware inventory, installed software, performance metrics, alert conditions, and all of it based on the policy assigned to that device group. And once deployed, the agent updates itself. You never need to manually update the NinjaOne agent across your fleet. It happens in the background silently and lightweight. And one of the key points to highlight about the NinjaOne agent is compared to its competitors, NinjaOne agent is very lightweight. So it does not consume a lot of system resources, hindering with the end user's workflow. So that is a very important point that needs to be highlighted. And RM, the remote monitoring management, this is pretty much where NinjaOne starts to pull away from the competition. The remote monitoring management module is the foundation or else the core of the platform, and it's pretty excellent. So what you're looking on the right is a live network topology view, and every circle on the diagram, of course, it represents a managed device, right? Windows, Mac OS, Linux, a VM, a network device. And the animated connections show you the active data flowing from endpoints up to the cloud. And in a real deployment, this would actually be your, let's say, architecture or your fleet. Now, what's important is every one of those devices is being polled on a sub-minute interval. NinjaOne is not checking in every 15 minutes like some legacy tools. If your disk crosses 85% of its limit, right? You know it, you know about it. The technician or as a system administrator, IT administrator will be immediately alerted within or under 60 seconds. And if a service stops, you know about it under 60 seconds. The health metrics on the bottom of this side, CPU at 64, 34%, memory at 61%, etc. These are live figures that will be pulled from your device, and basically it gives you a very detailed overview or else a very detailed look into every single endpoint in your organization. By doing so, it helps the IT managers or the IT administrators to it basically simplifies their task, especially when it comes to any issues that the user may report. Immediately, they can simply solve it, or else they can simply go through it, investigate it through NinjaOne console. They don't have to manually attend to the device. Device inventory and asset discovery. Of course, once you install the agent, um, for example, this is basically it's like the one of the most underappreciated features of NinjaOne, that is the asset inventory. And for example, the sample device that's recorded on the right, it shows you what NinjaOne captures automatically when an agent is installed. It captures the operating system version, the CPU speed, the RAM, disk type, usage, if BitLocker is enabled, disabled, the last uptime, and patch status. So there is no manual data entry. Everything is automated and pulled immediately. And but it goes further than that. Of course, you can add custom fields to every device. Basically, if your organization has any specific data that you want to view from the device, for example, maybe the asset tag, maybe the location, maybe the department, the owner's name, the purchase date, maybe the warranty's expiry date. You can create custom fields for this, and you can search across your entire fleet or else your entire basically the device infrastructure. And of course, you can also, let's say you want to find a machine that is running Java 8, but you need to patch it. You can do that immediately. You just have to do a simple search. You don't have to, you can, if you want to find a specific device, you can immediately find that device. So there is no complexity when it comes to NinjaOne. That is the main aim. The main aim is to negate or else eliminate the complexity that IT administrators or IT technicians may face when it comes to managing several endpoints within the organization. And device grouping is worth highlighting because when your organization, you might have different devices for different departments. So grouping these devices will help you to maybe categorize them based on operating system, categorize them based on maybe policies, categorize them based on maybe the department type, etc. So grouping the devices will help you to again simplify or reduce the complexity in finding or identifying devices. And when a new endpoint joins a group, it inherits all the monitoring thresholds, patching policies, automation rules instantly. So there is no manual configuration per device. And for organizations managing multiple branches, we see, for example, we see these in like various banking and retail sectors. This feature is very powerful. So moving on to the alerting and conditions feature. So you can, of course, the technician can always create custom triggers when it comes to maybe the CPU level, the disk usage, and it immediately alerts or creates an alert to the technician. Um, with detail, with a detailed overview of what has happened, what has gone wrong, what can be done, what is going to be done, etc. And of course, you have service and process monitoring, Windows event logging parsing, or you have all of these features when it comes to alerting. Now, moving on to the most important feature in NinjaOne is patch management, of course. And this is where the risk actually lives for most organizations. And when we talk about patching, people naturally think of Windows Update, but no, it's not just Windows updates. It's also about the applications running on top of Windows, like Chrome, Firefox, maybe Adobe, Java, Zoom, Teams. These applications or these softwares are patched very less frequently, right? Because the patches for these softwares are not automated. You have to either maybe Chrome is automated. Chrome does auto update on its own, but there are some softwares that don't update automatically, and maybe there could be a very severe vulnerable patch that could be potentially exploited. So the such applications need to be patched immediately. And majority of malware entry points in enterprise environments are vulnerabilities in third-party applications and not the operating system. So NinjaOne has a catalog of over 135 supported applications that it can patch automatically, and this catalog is maintained and updated by NinjaOne. So when Google releases a new version of Chrome with a security fix, NinjaOne immediately knows about it and can deploy it to your fleet based on whatever policy you have set. And the policy options are also flexible, so you can auto approve, you can deploy critical patches within 24 hours of release, fully automatic, no human in the loop. So you can pretty much just automate all of this, and the IT administrator does not have to, just kind of be tensed about such patch vulnerabilities. And you can, of course, you can defer optional patches. So, for example, maybe if there is a certain patch that you don't want to be applied, of course, you can hold it. You can put it on a hold period of your choice. And so this is more useful if you want to block a specific version of an application. Maybe if there is a certain feature in one version of the application and that feature is being removed in the next version, of course, you can hold back on the update as well. And you can deploy custom packages or else custom applications through using an MSI or exe installer or a DMG package for macOS, and of course DEB or else TARXE package for Linux. So of course, deploying custom packages is also very straightforward. You can pretty much run in a simple automation script and deploy it across all endpoints. So the baseline is you have one catalog, one workflow, and one compliance report. And all third-party patch management can be managed and deployed through NinjaOne. Remote access. Now, this is a very important feature in NinjaOne because I think if you take majority of the organizations, Um, for example, let's take a example scenario. I'll give you an example scenario, right? So it's around 9 a.m. on a Monday, and your finance director's machine, or else maybe your IT, yeah, let's say your finance director's machine isn't printing to the shared printer, right? And there is a board presentation at around 10, so he or she calls the help desk. In a traditional setup, of course, your IT administrator or technician is going to ask for the machine name, and if they are using TeamViewer separately, they have to enter the session ID, or any desk, again, you have to enter the session ID. Now, and then you have to wait, the technician has to wait until the user accepts, and hopefully they can only hope that it gets connected within 2 or 3 minutes, right? So there's going to be a delay, there's going to be time delay. In NinjaOne, the technician can immediately find the device in the console, click on connect, and the remote session opens in under 15 seconds. So you're saving a lot of time there, and you're also able to use a secure remote access tool. And because the session is it's initiated, of course, and it's authenticated by NinjaOne's role-based access system. And the connection, it goes through an encrypted tunnel, as you can see in the diagram. It goes through an AES 256 encrypted session between the technician's browser or and the endpoint, and the traffic does not pass in plain text. So of course, when it comes to security side, you can always ensure that security is up to date when it comes to NinjaOne. So this is a very critical feature in NinjaOne, especially when we look into a lot of organizations. Remote access is a must, especially for the IT teams. Remote access is a must because there are times where the IT technician may not be in office. Maybe he's outstation, maybe he's working remotely, maybe he's working from home. So in such situations, gaining remote access immediately, especially to address very critical tasks or critical issues, it can simply be done through NinjaOne using Ninja Remote. And of course, the security side, security and compliance, as I had mentioned, Ninja Remote has multi-factor authentication. The traffic is passed through an encrypted tunnel. There is role-based access control, so not every technician can launch a remote connection to the end device. You can, of course, you can manage that and make sure that there are only certain technicians, certain system administrators who are given the remote access to the endpoints. And you can also record the sessions, your session recording, you can manage the full audit logs, and the end user can also be notified if a remote connection has been established with their device. Now coming to the IT automation part, which is a very important module again in NinjaOne. NinjaOne has pre-built scripts, more than 300 plus pre-built scripts within the console, which helps IT administrators to simply, all they have to do is click and run. That's it. It's very simple. Based on your use case, you go to the library, you click, you run, and everything else is taken care of for you. So you have condition-based triggers. Of course, you can create conditions. You can create compound conditions, which helps you to basically consolidate multiple conditions into one big, overall policy or else a rule or a condition. And you can also schedule certain automation tasks. For example, like disk cleanup, cache clearing, all of that can be automated. And you also have self-healing remediations that can be automated, like service restarts. Maybe you want to free up some space, so you can ask NinjaOne if the disk reaches a particular threshold of 80%, you can ask NinjaOne to run, maybe clear the recycle bin, clear the temp folder, clear cache data, all of it. That can be run through NinjaOne. And this is the beauty of NinjaOne's automation feature or else automation module. And the automation policy engine, it is, again, as I mentioned, running certain automations, critical automations, like as I said, let's take some of the automation policies that I have mentioned here. The disk, if the disk reaches 85% of its usage or else of its space, right, you can run a disk cleanup script. You don't have to write a script. You can simply go to the library, click on it, and run it. So this is the beauty of NinjaOne. NinjaOne helps you. NinjaOne pretty much is like a click and run platform. It's like sometimes out of the box there are various default settings that you can simply continue working through. Like you don't have to create a custom policy. You don't have to create a custom script. So you can, out of the box, NinjaOne gives you so much features by default that helps you to simplify your IT automation task or your complex IT task. This is one of the best features of NinjaOne compared to the competitors as well. And reporting and alerting, of course, this is a very important feature to many organizations, especially when it comes to like audits, compliance, and all of it, because the IT teams are sometimes in charge of, making sure that the organization or else the board knows what's going on. So NinjaOne serves two audiences when it comes to reporting. Of course, there's the IT operation team that needs real-time visibility, and then there's the management or else the board who needs periodic reports on the IT infrastructure, right? So the bar chart on the right, it shows you a 7-day alert trend. So you can see a spike on Wednesday where there have been like 47 alerts failed. So this is just a sample visualization of what you can expect on a NinjaOne report. I will show you a very in detail report of NinjaOne. But this is the thing. These one of the key features of NinjaOne as well. Because for management reporting, NinjaOne scheduled report delivery is a significant time saver, especially. And for example, let's say someone in IT team probably spends several hours each month pulling data from multiple tools, right? Formatting it into PowerPoint or else maybe formatting it into Excel. And then you have to send it to management. In NinjaOne, you can configure the report template once and touch compliance, asset inventory, alert summary, uptime, and whatever your stakeholder cares about, you can set the schedule and NinjaOne emails it to you automatically. So there is no manual intervention required every week, every month, and exactly on time without having to do anything. So this is again the beauty of NinjaOne. Simply is the beauty of NinjaOne. It helps you save so much time. And of course, additional capabilities in NinjaOne, you have mobile device management, which helps you to manage Android, iOS devices. And you also have the backup feature, which helps you to backup files, folders, image, and you can opt in for two options. One is the cloud backup. The other one is your if you have an on-prem NAS or also an on-prem server, you can also configure that as well. Then you have the IT documentation, so built-in documentation linked directly to devices, which helps you to get a very in detail documented format of every asset that you have in your organization. And then you have the ticketing system. NinjaOne has an inbuilt ticketing system which helps you to save maybe a lot of money when it comes to uh, maybe certain organizations may have a third party ticketing tool which probably is expensive compared to regular tools. And in Ninja One, with one license and with a simple add-on license that you can purchase, you can get a ticketing system as well. And of course, you have the REST API, which helps you to create the integrations or create the link between maybe your SIEM or maybe your ITSM tool or maybe if you have like an identity management tool, you can simply create that link using NinjaOne's REST API. And of course, in mobile device management, you have the you can push patches or updates to Android, iOS devices. Remote wipe lock, for example, let's say if a user enters a password wrong for more than maybe like 5 or 6 times, you can immediately launch a remote wipe, which helps you to secure the device and make sure that there's no data stolen, any critical data stolen from the device. And as I mentioned, IT documentation and endpoint backup helps you to create backups of the file folders, images, and one-click restore. Of course, you can simply do that through NinjaOne. Integration wise, you can connect multiple third-party applications or third-party systems that you may have. And in these integrations is possible if NinjaOne does have native support for certain tools. And if the tools do not have native support through NinjaOne, you can of course create that connection or build that link using NinjaOne's REST API. And to just finally emphasize is NinjaOne is built for every IT team, be it a small business, be it a medium scale business, be it an enterprise organization, be it BFSI, or maybe it's a hospital environment. It doesn't matter. NinjaOne is built for every IT team, and it's built for internal IT departments, MSPs, etc. Right? Basically helps you to automate or else simplify the complex IT tasks within an organization. That is the overall idea, the baseline idea of NinjaOne. And that is what I want to highlight today. And over the upcoming webinars, we have planned a few webinars for the future as well. And over the upcoming webinars, we will be diving deep into each technical aspect. And although this was more like a presentation, the upcoming webinars will be a full in-depth technical session on certain features, highlighting certain modules or certain features of NinjaOne, which I spoke about today. Let me give you a quick demo of the platform so that you can get an idea of what NinjaOne is and how everything works within NinjaOne. Okay, so this is the NinjaOne dashboard, and once you log into your dashboard, of course, you get a entire overview, complete summary overview of your organization, the organization's endpoints. And you have all of the, you can see your pending tickets, you can see the multiple organizations within your company. So these basically all the group devices. So we have our data center devices, we have our eGuardian Bangladesh devices, management trainees, etc. So these are the device grouping features. And then you have your documentation. So there are 7 incomplete documentations which we have not attended to. And you have your device health summary, device health issues that you can simply view using a single click. And as you can see, there are 15 pending operating system patches, and you can simply view all of that in your dashboard. And once you jump into devices, it gives you every single individual device that is within your organization, and it helps you to make sure that each device is running healthy. It's basically healthy and running up, and there are no any issues with the devices. And you can, if you jump into the patching feature, which I want to highlight today, which is the operating system patching. So there is application patching, software patching. Of course, you can, there is a pending patch for Firefox, which you can simply approve, and it will approve it for this device. And you can also approve it for the policy. And so there are such features. And then, of course, you have your operating system patches, which you can simply jump into and you can apply it, or else you can simply make sure that every device that falls under the policy that this particular device is in gets this particular update. So these are these are some of the features in NinjaOne. And of course, launching a remote connection, as I had mentioned before, is very simple. All you have to do is go to the remote icon and you click on connect, and it will launch a remote connection to the end device that you want to connect to. And running automations, you can of course run automations individually on a single device, or else you can also run automations. As I had mentioned before, you can run uh, or compound condition automations, which I will show you. Let's say, let's go to pre-sales. Goes here. And when you jump into the policies, if you have created a custom policy for your organization, you can run certain conditions, or else you can run compound conditions, which is basically a combination, or else a grouping of multiple conditions, individual conditions. So these conditions will help you to these are basically automation conditions, and it helps you to reduce like manual tasks, or else, repetitive tasks. You can simply address all of it through these automation conditions. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight in this short demo, because we are kind of running out of time, is the automation library. And the automation library, of course, we have more than 300, almost 320 scripts, automation scripts, inbuilt scripts, pre-built scripts for you. And if you want to write your custom scripts, of course, you can simply write them in using PowerShell. Yeah, you can write them using JavaScript, Batch script, PowerShell, or Shell script, or VB script. So these will help you to write custom scripts based on maybe any specific use case that your organization or the management wants to address. And device management, you can group devices, and when it comes to assigning roles, especially technician roles, you can simply jump in, you can create custom roles, and these custom roles will help you to limit certain permissions that the certain user might have. So for example, as you can see, we have admin user who has admin level permissions. So the admin users can't launch remote access to end devices. Only system administrators or technicians can do that. So of course you have role-based access within NinjaOne, which helps you to make sure that your organization's usage, like console usage, is up to par. And of course your branding part, which is pretty much just you customizing your NinjaOne platform to your organization's theme or your organization's branding. That is pretty much the basic rundown of NinjaOne, and of course the report. So we have the patch report here. So this is an example patch report that you might receive as a technician. So you can automate this as per our organization's policies. We have automated it to be sent to the administrators on every Friday at 9 a.m. So the administrators get a weekly report of the patch status of our organization. So there's a reporting feature, and of course, you have your ticketing, inbuilt ticketing feature, which gives you open tickets, and submitting tickets for end users. They can do it through three methods. One is they can submit a ticket through the ticket portal, NinjaOne ticket portal, and two, they can submit a ticket directly from the agent. And the third feature is they can submit a ticket by sending an email to your support email, which you will create once you um, enable your branding. So here, as you can see, this is our support email, and any email that is being sent to this particular domain will automatically create a ticket within the NinjaOne console. And this is pretty much a basic rundown of NinjaOne, which I wanted to highlight today. But over the upcoming sessions, we are planning to give a deep dive, a very detailed overview or as a look into NinjaOne's technical features and more deeper understanding of what NinjaOne is and basically addressing each module within NinjaOne. For example, the patch module, what you can do with patch module, what are the policies that you can apply, what are the automation features that you can apply, all of it. So we are going to jump into every single use case that you can address with NinjaOne. And I think that's pretty much all the time we have for today. But if you have any questions right now, you can simply just raise it and I will be happy to answer your questions. Okay, perfect. So if there are no questions, thank you everyone for joining. Hopefully you had a very productive session. Hopefully you learned about NinjaOne and what it is about. And if you want to maybe run a POC for your organization, maybe even get a deep understanding for your organization, you can always send an email to hello@eguardian.com or else presales@eguardian.com, and we'll be happy to give you a very detailed structure, maybe the pricing structure, be it any use case that you want to address, we will be happy to address all of it to you. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining and see you on the next one.